Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to my show, High Road to Humanity. In every episode, I tell you powerful true stories filled with great wisdom that you can use in your own life as you strive for a higher road to travel. My featured guests will have their own unique stories to tell that enlighten your mind and your soul. So kick back, relax, and learn the secret to success when you take the high road.
First touch, strong connection, it lays deep in your soul.
Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to High Road to Humanity. And guess who I have here today? Melanie Salvator-August is here. And Mel, welcome to High Road to Humanity.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited. She's here. You guys, this is a cool book, Yoga to Support Immunity. And I don't know about you guys. Yes, this is a cool book, and I cannot wait to talk to her. I've had this book. I've been reading it before the show. Like a couple of weeks ago, I started reading it because I just think this is really awesome. It's mind, body, breathing guide to whole health. And this is something I think we all need because Melanie, we forget to breathe sometimes.
100%. That's the first place. That's the first place we start holding our breath.
I'm really glad you're here. Before we get into it with Mel today, I am going to talk about a couple things that I pulled up online. This is High Road to Humanity. The first thing I pulled up, which this is crazy. It's a massive inferno is billowing toxic smoke from a recycling plant known as a fire hazard. It forced evacuations. It's ordered for thousands. Officials say it could burn for days. I don't know if you guys saw this. I pulled this from CNN. A massive fire emitting toxic smoke from an eastern Indiana recycling plant. A mayor said had been a known fire hazard. You know, why do we know this and then not do anything? Anyway, has forced evacuation orders for about 2,000 people as it is expected to burn for days, city and state officials say. Now, early air monitoring results are expected Wednesday. Wayne County officials said plastics were among the items burning at the Richmond plant, and the smoke is a thick black column. And I saw this on the news, and it's just crazy. They had to evacuate. Did you see this on the news? No. Yeah, they had to evacuate all these people because it's just black smoke. It is crazy, crazy. So blessings to those people, and we send prayers to them. I have to always pull something fun because we have to make light because life is not always easy. Check this guy out. He is he's in the hospital. Look, I wish I could do like really cool things. He's a moose. This is a moose. And he's in Alaska. You guys, if you're listening to me on the podcast, I'm showing a picture of a moose. And he's in Alaska. And these amazing animals are simply part of the scenery, even as it turns out in the hospital. So check this out. Fancying a snack from the foliage in Anchorage Providence, Alaska Health Parks Cancer Center. It was last Thursday that a moose decided to walk into the building. Its hooves were no impediment to the motion-activated door. And soon, the security staff had to get on the intercom to warn visitors, patients, and staff that a moose was on the loose. I like that the best. A moose was on the loose. However, the announcement served mostly to draw people in to see the moose, which wasn't the first ever entering the building, nor has it only been members of the deer family. So this is something that happens all the time. Providence has also had bears try to enter their facilities. But the Providence Health Park has an extra special visitor. They love the moose. Security managed to get him out of there pretty easily. Wouldn't that be cool? Now, I will say, I moved to a really cool place, and I woke up one morning and I had a whole herd of elk by my house.
Wow.
I'm out there taking pictures and stuff.
They're
anyway.
huge. Elk are huge.
I know.
Not just like deer with big antlers. They are big.
Yeah. And they have white butts. That's how you know. That's how you know they're elk, because they're all, there was a ton of them. It was really cute. Let me give you some information about Melanie Salvator-August. She is a former comedy writer. I think that's cool. She's a veteran yoga meditation teacher. She's a Reiki master. She's a mama of 3, and she's an author of Fierce Kindness, Be a Positive Force for Change, Kitchen Yoga. This is cool. Simple home practices to transform mind, body, and life. And now this new book, Yoga to Support Immunity. I want to ask your story. You are born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and you're Italian. I love that. And you have a joy for life, and I can tell that already. But my biggest question for you when I first, got the book is, how did you know, I guess, how did you know the immunity and the yoga thing? Tell us your story. Like,
I'm not a doctor.
yeah, how'd you figure this out?
Yeah, yeah. And well, on my journey, I like to say I'm a pusher from way back, meaning meaning one to like go the extra mile, right? One to burn the candle at both ends. One to a pusher. I'm just going to push myself, right?
Okay.
And after many, many years of pushing, my body said, that's enough. And it was like game over. So it's like, I had, 3 kids under the age of, I don't know, at the time, 6. I had an infant on my lap. I had signed on to do a book, and I was so sick, just like my body was like, that's it. Like literally I'd be laying on the floor trying to move the car back and forth. I have 3 boys, with the oldest, like I can't figure it out. And the doctors, lovely, amazing people, but couldn't really figure it out either. And so the meds and the things, it was just not working.
Okay.
And so then I started to kind of lean. I'd already been teaching a long time, yoga and studying. And I was like, okay, what does Ayurveda say? What does yoga say? What is it that I have not been doing that I know can help? And so I started to break down slowly, like what it is,
Okay.
it starts with, and then learning, okay, what's the science behind that? So we talk about a full and complete breath. What does that do for the chemicals in my brain and my body? What does it do for my immune system? And I started to create a program for myself. It was very slow, but slowly, surely I started to get up off the floor. I started to change.
So can I stop you? So
yes, please.
I want to ask, you had mentioned before we started the show, you have an autoimmune disease like I do.
I like to say healing from it.
I'm not to say healing
from it. I'm not keeping it.
I love that. Thank you so much for that. Well, and the reason I bring this up is because I do too. And I know there's a lot of people out there who have autoimmune, all different.
Lots.
I have Graves, and I think you said, I hope you don't mind if I say you have Hashimoto's. My daughter has Hashimoto's. It runs in the family. It's hereditary.
Yeah.
My mom was diabetic. Like, was your mother, did she have Hashimoto? She did.
Thyroid.
Thyroid. And this is common. So continue on. I just wanted to mention that.
And it is common. And that was what inspired to write the book. And Lisa McGinnis, a wonderful friend, publisher, she was like, okay, you're on to something. And then COVID happened. And the publishing company was like, but couldn't all these tools work for like everybody all the time? And I was like, yeah, totally. And they're like, well, we should open it up to everybody. And so, yes, it's a long journey, and I've helped myself, and I've had the honor of helping many hundreds of others personally, one by one, coaching in classes and that way. So that's what created the book.
Well, I need to understand, and the audience does too, because this is a really good book. I want you guys to understand this. And she gives poses for clarity, different things like that. But I guess my biggest thing is, for me personally, and I can only speak for myself, so I would ask you what I think the audience would want to know. I have a yoga mat, and I turn on the TV, and I find my channel, and I'm like, okay, and I get down on the floor and I do my thing, and it's hard because it takes a lot just to get to that point, right?
Yeah.
But when you get up, you feel good. But I want to do that with your moves, because I could tell by reading this, you've spent so much time like refining.
Yes.
That I don't want to just turn on any yoga show. Now I want to, well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So is there a way, I think you had mentioned in the book, and forgive me if I don't know this, is there a way I can download it so I can listen or watch you or something like that?
I love that you're asking that, Nancy, because it's been a really interesting, not yet for listening to.
Okay.
It's coming though. And there's sometimes the path is not straight. So
it's okay.
The path has not been straight, but I love that you want it, because I'm trying to get others convinced in the publishing house that should be audio. It should be an audio.
Well, yeah, because I'm a novice. I have done my elliptical. I've done I have a Peloton, but now I'm older. I hate to say that. And it's not even that I'm older. I'll take that back. It's that I learned that I need to stretch.
Yeah. You need different, something different.
Talk about this. I
Yeah.
mean, what's the difference like between me doing or a person doing their
Yeah.
elliptical or their Peloton versus doing yoga? It's a whole different ballgame, isn't it?
It is. It is. And though I love that you say stretch, because I feel like that's what, like many of our friends, they think like, oh, I'm not flexible. Yoga's for the flexible.
Right.
But yoga really is about intention and mind-body connection as we're working out. So really, if you're doing your Peloton very mindfully with intention and you're breathing very mindfully and you're slowing it down, you could even call that yoga.
No, I'm rocking out while I'm on my Peloton. I'm
Which has its
sorry.
benefits. I just want to say it has its benefits. I think it's a yes and situation. And when we're looking at the yoga practice, we're looking at how you're thinking,
Mhm.
how you're breathing,
Right.
and then how you're moving. And not just moving as in strengthening or stretching, how you're moving with skilled action through your whole life. It's not just on the mat. It's every aspect. So I would, it's exercise program or way of living.
Yeah, it's a way of
Yoga is
living. Okay, now here's what I want to ask you. Okay, so is it possible to integrate? Like I'm thinking,
Oh yeah.
like maybe I do, like, do you do yoga every day?
Yes, because I'm living yoga.
But that's what I want to do, but I don't know how to
It's-
do that.
Yeah, and I can help you. And
Cool.
so how do we live our yoga is like the
Yeah.
big,
How do you,
big question, right?
yes.
And I feel like first it's changing the mindset
Okay.
of an hour class or an hour and a half, and it has to look like this. It has to look like Lulu. I love Lululemon, but
Right.
and you know what I mean? It has to look like that. First, that's the first thing. We let that go, right? It looks like mindfully curating your day with intentionality and looking at your micro habits. And so a big part of the book is micro habits. And so looking at, how you're moving through your day, which I'm happy to help with more specificity. But before I do that,
Mhm.
it's then you start to insert in your day, if you're using asana. So yoga means to connect mind, body, soul. It's to yoke them.
Okay.
Asana
Oh,
or
it's to yoke
stretches.
them. Oh,
It's to yoke them, right?
okay.
Mind, body, soul, yoke. So when we say yoga can be anything as long as you're syncing up mind, body with intention.
Got it.
So you could do asana, which is stretching part of yoga or strengthening part of yoga. You could do your asana. Absolutely. You would do it, maybe right before your Peloton or right after your Peloton. And you give yourself 11 minutes. I like 11. You give yourself 11 minutes, 8 minutes, something like that. And you very intentionally breathe and do some of the postures to help massage your abdomen and move your lymphatic fluid and stretch your muscles and all of that.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
when you're doing this,
Yeah.
is it automatically just help your immune system? Is that what this is?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's a little asterisk.
Well, tell me what the asterisk
Audio
is.
asterisk is. Audio asterisk is if it's intentional. If you have your mind and your body and your breath connected,
Mhm.
then it's going to help shift your nervous system.
Oh my God.
And that's one of the main links. So that's the asterisk. So if you're just like stretching and moving, it's a little different. If your mind is somewhere else, you're watching whatever you're watching. You're watching
Right.
The Last of Us that's just stressing you out. That's the new zombie show. If you're watching that and you're doing whatever you're doing, it's not going to have the same effect.
Okay. Yeah, I can't watch zombie shows.
Oh, so scary. Yes.
Some of us can't do that. All right. So you've got in here some stretches in the beginning, but then what I really liked about this is a cool book. I love all the drawings and stuff. See, because I'm visual.
Thank you.
A lot of people are visual. See this, you guys? Yeah,
Mhm.
see this? She
Fantastic.
gives you these integrated sequences. So if I want to, this is a balancing meditation, which I think would be really cool. So I could just go through the sequence.
Yes. So I try to make the book so you could access it at any point, right?
Yeah.
I know some of us are just so busy. You don't have time to go all the way through. So you're
Yeah.
going to find at the end of each section, a little section that says, if you only do one thing, do this. Something like that.
Okay.
You only do one thing, do this. And then of course, I give you 3 things.
Well, I like how you go into deeper inventory of the tendencies and daily habits.
They can make or break us.
I want you to talk about this. And this really hit me when I read this. You say, years ago, a wise friend said to me in passing, only repeat what you want to continue.
Mhm. Mhm.
Wow, that hit home with me yesterday. I was like, that's true. Because we're such creatures of habit. We just keep
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
And
So our mind wants to create the easiest, most energy efficient patterns. So our brain will make things into automation as much as it can, which is lovely and is not lovely. So as
Yeah.
soon as we start to repeat something, we're going to make a connection in the brain, and the brain will attempt to automate it. And so that's where we start to really look at, how are we intentionally thinking? And I know that for many friends, that's like, what do you mean? What do you mean, how am I thinking? Like, how do I even listen to how I'm thinking? Like it could be even a new concept.
Well, awareness. We have to be aware of our thoughts, because whatever we think, whatever we feel creates our reality. And people are starting to
100%.
realize that, but people are starting to get it.
I think so too. I remember being a kid and seeing a bumper sticker that said, you aren't, oh, darn it, I lost it. I'll remember it. But something to the effect of like,
Yeah.
you're not what you think.
Oh, but you are.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
create your own reality. It's really crazy because you can start over. You know what I like is that you can start over every day.
I love that. I love it too. I agree.
On page 96, this book, I wrote this down because this is a 3-minute daily. See, guys, I think this is really cool because this is what I need and a lot of people need because we don't have time.
Yeah.
Because I got to do a show. So she's got a 3-minute daily here.
Yeah.
Where
3-minute daily sequence.
and I like this. It's a mini sequence standing version. I just feel like, and I just want you to talk about some more. I just feel like we don't stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we stretch? And we need to get up in the morning and stretch and move our bodies. And we don't do that.
And move our bodies. I would love for everyone to think of the spine, right? That place, tailbones, the top of the head, because it's going to include the neck. That's our fountain of youth. And when we've been still for 8, 9, whatever hours, right, it gets inflamed or stiff, depending on what we're consuming food-wise, all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we need to move the spine in all directions every day, at least once, the very minimum.
Okay.
So that daily sequence is exactly that. So sometimes when we think a stretch, yes, you're absolutely right, but I'd love to take it the next step. It's move the spine.
Move the spine.
We're moving the spine. If we move the spine, so I'm just going to, say it. You're going to round it. You're going to arch it.
Okay.
You're going to arch. You're going to go to the side.
Okay.
Side lateral stretch. You can put the arm or not. You can go the other side, right? And then a twist. When you twist, lift your chest, get really tall, and then rotate the rib cage. That's the part that gets really stiff. Inhale, lift.
Right. So we have to rotate. Okay.
So that's not very much.
No, it's not. And it makes a big difference.
It makes a huge difference. When we do it and we know we're doing something that is good for us, there becomes an intentionality to it. We're wishing ourselves well.
Mm-hmm. God, it took me a long time to get to this point.
Me too.
You too, to wish yourself. When did you realize? Now I have a question for you. So you start doing this, you start figuring this out, trying to figure out, okay, wait a minute. At what point, like, what was your aha moment on this whole journey with the kids and you don't have any energy? I mean, what changed for you? What was that tipping point?
I would say that there were many aha moments.
Right.
To get to where I am now, and I'm still having aha moments. So I'm, still learning. Yeah,
yeah, we all are.
Yeah, totally. Right. Let's be clear. Still learning. And I have to say that it was very early in my yoga journey where I went to a class. I was in New York. It was years and years ago, 25 years more ago. And I lay down at the end, and I was so anxious when I went to that class. I didn't go there for exercise. I just like, I'm coming out of my skin here,
Mhm.
anxious. And then we had the lay down thing. The Shavasana course was a lay down. And I was like, oh, geez. But for like a few moments, I got quiet, and there was some space in between my thoughts
Okay.
and the moment. And that space began to grow. So I realized that the big aha was like, wow, I'm not my thoughts, and I can direct my thoughts, and I can change my mind. So all of that started to lead where I was like, I can change my mind. I can change my mind about Hashimoto. I can change my mind about how much time I have. I can become very intentional, and I can start to look at those little building blocks moment by moment by moment.
Mhm.
A huge building block is your breathing, our breathing, my
I
breathing.
know, and I gotta ask you something. I find
Mhm.
myself, I hate to admit this. I don't know if everybody else feels this way. I find myself like sometimes just not breathing. Just like I'm like seeing, like talking to you right now. I'm like, oh, and when you say breathing, I'm like, then I'm aware. But it's like I'm not even like,
Yeah.
talk about this. Why are we like this? And how do we change that? Because it's
Mhm.
beneficial to change it, isn't
It
it?
is. It's super beneficial. I feel like, not to make it like a wide, universal, or generic statement of sorts, but this aspect of many of us have been programmed to wait for the next shoe to drop or to be afraid, right?
Yeah.
The fear is pervasive. And there's actually a very interesting little filter in the brainstem. It's called the reticular activating system. I talk about it a little bit in the book. I
Okay.
like a little science, right? Because it's like sales. You're like,
Right.
oh, here's the science. I'll do it, right?
Right.
Our reticular activating system is trained to look for fear. And when we are scared, our breath becomes shallow,
Right.
and we pull in, and the blood, it shunts to the muscles so we can be fast, right? So I feel like it's a chronic stress response, holding the breath. And
Mhm.
it's so buried in
It's
process.
protecting us.
Yes. And I think, like, instead of being mad at myself for not breathing, or any of us, I just want to support everybody being kind to yourself. Like, oh, baby, because they're that kid's inside, right? Oh, baby,
Right.
in your breath. Breathe. You're safe.
Well, and you said something that, I used to make fun of, and now I totally agree with, that we all have an inner child and we need to love ourselves. And we have never been taught to do that. And now people are starting to say, okay, you're supposed to love yourself first before you can love anybody else. I mean, isn't the world changing? Isn't that amazing?
The world is changing. Yeah, the world. And I love that take. I love that take. Again, we can either train our eyes, our heart to see
Mhm.
what to be scared of and live that reality, or we can train our heart and mind to see the possibilities, to see what the solutions. And so that's a big aha.
So talk to me about, you did a section on detoxification. And is that just for like foods that we're eating? Because I will say that your body doesn't lie, and your body always tells you what's up.
Yeah.
Now, the detoxification, I think, is, are you mean that for like processed foods and things like that? Do you mean it for like alcohol? What are you talking about here?
Such a great question. So I'm not a dietitian, and I say that and I kind of giggle because I've met some dietitians where I'm like, really? You think that's a good idea? I don't know if that's a good idea.
Maybe they read it in a book and believed it. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, I feel like there's so many ways, as many people as there are there ways to consume food.
Mhm.
I will say, yes, I'm definitely of a support of like whole foods, clean foods, yes, live foods, stuff that has prana or life force in it. Something that's very processed does not. We can feel that. We can feel
Vegetables and fruits and stuff like
yes,
that.
exactly. That said, I'm not a dietitian, so it's like so in the book I don't go there really at all.
Mhm.
I'm looking for the detox for two main components. One is how we think. One is how we think.
I love
Yeah.
it.
I'm
Okay.
sorry to say it. Can I say a little bad word?
I don't care.
Okay, shit. It's
Yeah.
the shit we think. Okay,
It's
so
for the shit that we think. Is that what you're saying?
it's like, we got to change the channel. And when you hear, the use of the Sanskrit word mantra is basically changing the channel. Man means mind, tra means weave, and this is a very powerful yogic tool. Some people call it affirmation, some people call it redirection, right? But to shift from the shit, clear it out,
Mhm.
and redirect to nourishment.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
I
When
love
you
it.
say that, I do affirmations every day. And if
Wonderful.
I don't do them, I'm not the same person, because that vibration of what you say, and it goes into your soul and into your just body. And you know, it's all connected, all of that. So I just really like that you did that. I want to bring something up since we're talking about detoxification. I stopped eating sugar because I had to. I
Mm,
was getting, my body was really, how can I say this? I think just like you knew something was wrong and you had
yeah,
to fix it. I was starting to have issues and I realized it was sugar because diabetes runs in my family.
sure.
And it was so to the point where I just stopped. That's enough. And
Mm,
it's like and I just said, that's it. You
mm.
know, no more Pop-Tarts. I love Pop-Tarts.
Right. Yeah, right. There's
No
always
more Pop-Tarts,
a little
no
thing.
more cookies, no
Mm.
more. But it's really down to, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because you have to almost get to a point where you love yourself enough. Now we're back to that point. You
Yeah,
got to love yourself enough to love your body enough to want to be here in a healthy state,
yeah,
stop eating the Pop-Tarts. And
yeah,
that's what I had to do.
yeah.
I had to say, okay, this is crazy. I want to be healthy. I want to feel good. I want to be able to walk. I
Mm,
don't want to have
yeah.
issues. And when if you get diabetes, it can cause you
100%.
all these problems. My sister's actually has a diabetic clinic, so I know. And
Wow.
when it runs in your family, and it's like, you know, but it's hard.
Yes. It's very
We'll
hard.
talk about diet. Anyway, that's what I want
Yeah.
to say about sugar, because that just
I
happened
love that.
recently. And it's not easy because it was Easter, but I didn't eat any Easter candy.
Good for you.
And that was hard. But I
Yeah.
mean, and then people are like, oh, I gave it up for Lent. Well, I didn't lie and say I gave it up for Lent. I gave it up because I wanted to be healthy.
Well, and to me, that's yogic. Now,
Okay.
not the giving up part necessarily, that's not, but that you're in alignment, that your right hand and your left hand are working together. There's no cognitive dissonance, right? Because for so many of us, our right hand is cleaning up and our left hand is messing up, and we're not in alignment. Our body, mind, and soul are not in alignment. They're not
Mhm.
yoked.
Yeah, and we're back to that. I love it.
Because it's all spiral, Nancy. It just keeps, it's not a straight line. It's like, yeah, we go into it and then we think we're somewhere else and we come back to it. And we're constantly evolving, yet we're
Mhm.
circling.
Mhm.
And
So
that,
it is. I'm sorry.
oh no, I'm so glad. But that is why I built the book in the way it is, because we keep coming back. Mind, body, intention, breath, we keep circling. It's not just like one chapter and that's it. We
No,
just
it's a combination. It's
yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and if you're going to be here on this planet, I mean, you might as well be healthy. And the way that, and sorry, not to get crazy, because I have to be careful about what I say, but as far as, you know, our healthcare system, I mean, it's really hard to even get in to see a doctor. I'm almost to the point now, I don't know how you feel, where I'm just like really like I got my Manuka honey and,
Sure.
you know, all different self-care, like I have
Yes.
supplements and I think a lot of people are doing that. Talk about that, because that's self-care. That's like, you know.
Absolutely. And everything that we're talking about is self-care. And what we're talking about is empowerment.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if I had to put a category for the book, for me, really, it's an empowerment book. It's an empower book. It's like, listen, friend, you are a self-cleaning oven. You are a self-healing machine. We just need to get you aligned, your mind and your heart and your breath and your body and your actions. And yes, there's always going to be that dissonance. Like, we're human. I'm still learning. And the more we can get your micro habits in place, the more you're going to be sovereign over you.
Yeah.
And feel empowered.
Yeah.
Right. So it is rebellious. Yoga has always been a form of secret rebellion. It's
I love it.
commonplace now, but it wasn't. For thousands of years, it was a secret practice because it put power in the individual's hands.
And why was a secret practice? Because they didn't want people to be powerful. They wanted them to be controlled, just like, right, just like today.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Same thing.
it's a human kind of situation, right? And so
Yeah.
here we are now. It's become much more commonplace, but still, the practices can be kind of whitewashed to be something that's like a exercise program of some sort, which has its value. I'll take
Yeah, but it's
any yoga,
not. That's
yoga.
not
It's
what it's
not the whole.
about.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
Not.
I love that.
Mhm.
How did you get into it to begin with? Can I ask that?
Sure. Well, I think similar to you, because I hear that we have simpatico. That as a young person, as a preteen, I had a lot of intuition, and I,
Mhm.
received a lot of information. And my mom and my grandmother were very intuitive, and you can call it psychic, however you want to call it. And so I had a fascination with anything that seemed counterculture or seemed in the spirit realm. So I was doing a lot of reading as a preteen, and a lot of meditation right in my little bedroom in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and
I love it.
a lot of affirmations. A Shakti Gay one was like changed my life. Her book, Creative Visualization. Maybe I was 12.
Gosh.
So I started early, and I was, it was when I got deeper into entertainment. I think I'm going to put it like that, but acting, and that, for whatever worth, it kind of, I allowed it to separate me from me. It became like became, what am I supposed to do next to make other people happy and to do what I think I'm supposed to be doing, right?
So you were a comedian. You were a stand-up comedian?
I did sketch, mostly sketch, and wrote sketch.
I love it.
comedy
I think
and
it's great.
shows. Yeah,
Okay.
it was super fun. I was at the Comedy Store in LA for
Really?
years, and
Oh
yeah,
my
I was
God.
at the Upright Citizens Brigade in New York and LA. I was at Second City. Yeah, it was fun.
Laughter is the best
Fun.
medicine, right?
It is fantastic. And I think I had some good ideas, meaning that I thought if I could just help someone think and I could help them laugh, then I'm going to help the world. And it was not my path, but all the tools I learned there are now the ones that support me, really helping my friends. And I figure everyone's my friend, even if we haven't met and I don't know your name, you're still my friend. Help my friends now.
Right.
So I feel like I diverged a little bit, but my whole journey has been a part of where I am now, all the years.
I love it. Well, yeah, because that makes you who you are today. So the energy, you do energy work too, like I do.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I don't know where the seeing comes from, and if I put pressure on my seeing, it's not the same. But I see, like I see auric fields, and I always have to a certain
so
degree.
you can see my aura.
I can see certain parts of it.
Okay.
And if I put pressure on it, it kind of goes, no. This is not an ego, like, but if I'm very quiet, I can see, or if I flash, I'm teaching people, I can see, I'm like, oh, there's something happening here. Let's add this tool to help move that stagnation in your lower belly that I'm seeing. I usually see
Mhm.
gray spots.
Well, it's interesting because I'm talking to you and having this conversation, and I've had some issues with my right foot. I'm just going to say this, I'm going to be honest. And so since I've been on the Zoom with you, I've been having energies running out my right foot. Like for some reason, you being here, I don't know what it is, but it's releasing energy out my leg.
That's fascinating. And what I will say is the
I
right
have to
side of
say
your
this 'cause
body,
it's
your
so
right side of your neck and shoulder is where I see a little bit of, like, I'm only seeing you right from middle up,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
I see. So I wonder, do you have a pinched nerve in your right upper neck or shoulder? I wonder if it's not just your foot.
It's the right side.
It's the
I'll
right
have
side.
to,
So I
I'll
wonder
have
how
to.
you're sleeping, really basic stuff. It doesn't have to be like something like
Yeah, no, you're right. It's
very,
right here. Oh my God.
simple.
You're exactly right. Yeah, it's right here. It's right
Yeah.
here. But it's the oddest thing. I'm really into energy, but it's
Yes.
just I've never sat with anybody before and had energy shoot out my leg like this. And I didn't know if I should say anything or not.
It's the joy that's going back and forth between us.
Is that what it is?
It is.
I'm
I
being
agree.
healed. Oh God, I love it. Well, and it's true. we all have to really take care of our bodies. And I was asking you about your journey and putting this book together, but at what
Mhm.
point, kind of never said, like, at what point did you like, wow, I'm good again? Like, how long did it take you to kind of change it up a little bit to become?
You think the everything. It really, even though it was slow and consistent,
Mhm.
not that long. Once
That's
I started
nice.
paying attention, right?
Okay.
So it didn't take us, let's say, a year. Let's say a
Okay.
year, and then I started to be like, wow, I have more energy, and it's fragile because our habits, our habit of our thinking, our eating, our moving, all that stuff, um, it has for many of us has deep grooves. And so
Mm.
when we're making new grooves, they're a little fragile. So I always try to be like, if I fall off, I just hit the mic, sorry. But if I fall off any micro habit, and I know it's an important one for me, I try not to fall off for more than one day,
Okay.
because every day after one day, it gets much harder to get back on. And it's almost like starting all the way over again.
Right.
We
Well,
all know it's hard to start, right, friends? It's hard to start. That's the hardest part. But once you get going, it's much easier.
so what do you suggest we do? Like, tell the audience, like, if we get your book
Mhm, mhm.
and, tell us kind of, I don't know, give us a little preference on how we should begin.
Okay. So first, if we go on that train, if you get the book, right? If you get the book, I'd love for you to touch the book and feel the book and know that you're doing something good for yourself. And
Okay.
take every time you touch the book, take a big deep breath
Okay.
and push the belly out and in. Just push
Okay.
the belly out and in. And I hope you're breathing with us now. I can see you're breathing, I'm breathing. So even if you don't open the book, but you hold the book, and every time you hold the book, you take a deep breath, a couple, 3 deep breaths, you're on your way.
I love that.
Mhm.
It's just calming down too.
Totally.
We just need to chill.
Yeah. Mhm.
Do you think it's best to do this in the morning?
Hmm. Um, if
You
we're
get
talking
asked that all
about
the time.
if we're talking about, and well, I want to clarify, what's this? Stretching? Moving your
Well,
body? Because
okay.
we got mind, body, breathing practices. So I'm like, it's all day. But morning is great because we have a lot of liminal thinking. We have limitless thinking in the morning. We're fresh.
Okay, so
Yeah.
once we get going on this, what you're saying is then we're more mindful of our movements and our breathing because we're doing the practice maybe in the morning or evening or whatever. But then what you're saying is then you carry it out through the day.
Yes.
Okay,
And
I get it.
because
I get
the
it.
same
Okay.
amount of stretching in the book or exercises in the book is the same amount of mind inquiry. And it's the same amount of breathing. So that book that you're holding is not just about stretching, not at all, or not just about physical movements.
Right.
Really, like some of it is a little uncomfortable because I'm going to ask you, like, what are you doing on a habitual? How are you thinking on a habitual?
I know. I was like, oh, you
You're like,
put us on the spot. Well, you
I don't
make people,
know. Yeah.
yeah, you make people think.
Which I'm hoping. Now, I want, there's 2 things I'd like to share,
Okay.
and they're so simple, and you might not even think of them as yoga, but they're one of my favorite yogic tools.
Okay.
And one is scraping your tongue in the morning before you drink water or eat anything. I know. We're all like, what? You're not
What's
stretching the spine?
What do you mean, like brushing your teeth, like brush your tongue?
No, I'm
No.
saying take a spoon, or if you get excited about it, you could get an Ayurvedic tongue scraper and scrape from the very back of the tongue all
Forward.
the way down, both on the sides, front, all the way. That's where the tongue scraper is good because it comes around that way. Great.
Why do you do this?
Now, the tongue, similar to the spine, right, has all these pressure points and energy and connection to all your internal organs.
I didn't know that.
You're scraping what the liver and the body has pulled out, the toxins. And you'll probably, most of us have either a gray or white kind of yuck on there. So we're scraping it off. And while we're scraping off, we're evenly massaging all those acupressure, which are called marma points in yoga. And we're going to scrape all the way down 6, 7 times.
Real
And
in the
turn it
morning
off.
before you have a cup of coffee, anything.
Before
Got it.
coffee, but ideally right in the beginning before anything goes in your
Anything. Got it.
So you're going to clear it out. Otherwise, when you go, this is the next step, is to drink at least 16 ounces of water. Okay, if you start with 8, fine, but at least 16 ounces.
Okay.
Room temperature.
Okay. Room temperature.
Yep. So I set
Okay.
mine up at night. Actually, I pour mine at night, ready to go.
Oh, look at you. Okay, got it.
Right. That's when we start to look about micro habits. You get up, you go use the potty. I'm forever going to call it potty. My kids are going to be 50.
Yeah, it's okay.
Potty.
Once you have kids, you call everything. Yeah.
Right, potty. It's ridiculous. Use the potty, have your scraper and your water set out, scrape, get all that gunk out. Otherwise,
So what do you scrape with, like a spoon or something, maybe?
well, you can start with a spoon. And then once you graduate and you're like, I'm doing this on the regular and this feels good, you buy a $6 stainless steel tongue scraper. You can get them anywhere.
Okay. Okay.
Get them at Walgreens. You can, if you can't
Okay.
find it at Amazon.
This
you
is
can
like
find it-
totally new, man. But you know what? This makes a whole lot of sense.
Oh, well, first of all, just practical. You're going to pour that crap back into your body. Your body just cleared it all out. It's sitting on your tongue.
But
Get it
nobody ever told us to spit or get rid
No,
of
it's
it.
Ayurvedic. It's yogic. These yogis know. So you want to clear it off. The second is we're going to stimulate the digestion. You're also going to stimulate expansion in the lungs because the lungs are on the side. They coincide on the side of the tongue. Your intestines, like everything, you're going to scrape it, stimulate
Wow.
your digestion. That's going to help your metabolism. So anyone who cares about metabolism, scrape your tongue, not brush it. You can brush later. Scrape.
Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
increase your metabolism and the water. You actually lose weight.
Yes. And if that's something you're interested in, this is detox. This is smart. This is in alignment. When you drink that nice, clean water, I'd love for you to see yourself doing something loving for yourself and clear. It's like you're going to pour that water down from the top of the throat down to the bottom.
Like visualize a cleansing is what you're saying.
Yes. And then
Okay.
ideally, you drank enough water to go have a bowel movement. And then
Okay.
now you're cooking with gas. Those are 3, and I did more than 2. Those are 3 Ayurvedic yogic habits that'll help you be intentional, will help you detox, will help you be light of mind, body, soul.
Wonderful.
I haven't even done one down dog yet.
She's like, you haven't even stretched. You know, I'm so glad you came on today.
Fine. Me too.
Well, no, because we need to learn these things. We need, we're changing, we're evolving, humanity is changing. And these are little things, but they're so important,
Yes. Yes.
to our bodies and everything. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to ask you before we get out of here today. The book is wonderful. I want to know, are you teaching this? Oh, one thing I want to say, wait, before I move on. You do a thing where you're singing. There's a singing meditation. And it's Satanama Kenya? Is that right?
Satanama. You got it.
Okay. Okay. So talk about that really quick, because I'm into the voice and the vibration, and I found that interesting that was in there. And why did you include this?
Well, I included it as you know, that vibration is very powerful. It helps shift the nervous system. So humming can help regulate your nervous system. So friends, you're in your car, you're anxious or whatever, just start to hum. You don't have to do ohms or any of that. Just hum. And it'll start to soothe your whole system. So we could do a whole program a whole program to heal somebody just on deep breaths and humming.
How long do you hum for?
As long as you're willing to do it.
And what does it do? It balances, does it balance your chakras or what
Yeah,
does it
well,
do?
yes, it can, but I would
Yeah.
go for this like physical body. It's going to help
I
increase
just,
your nitric oxide, and it's going to help open up all your passageways, your capillaries, your oxygen intake, your oxygen into your cells. It's going to help regulate your nervous system and move it into what's called a parasympathetic nervous system response, which means rest and restore, which will boost your immune system, your digestion, and your hormone function. It's going to help you feel calmer, which is going to help cognitive function. It's going to help you use your frontal lobe and be able to use that higher mind instead of the back, the lizard mind.
yes, the reptilian mind, you guys.
Yeah, amygdala. Then we're going to move into the frontal lobe. So it has all those benefits. We're also, especially we're here, we're near the thyroid. We're near the thymus gland. So sternum bone down 2 inches. We got the thymus. I like to tap my thymus gland every day. It's in the book. And hum or om. That's your immune system right there. That's your main friend to the immune.
Yeah, and that's why, and I've got the, why do we always have, why do so many people have, not that you know everything, but why do so many people have autoimmune disease, you think?
Yeah. I feel
That's a big question, but I'm
it's
just
a big question. And of course, I don't know. I have no idea. And what I think is it's the fear that's been fed through the nipple.
I agree. You know, as you're doing this, I gotta say something. I can remember, I'm gonna age myself a little bit here, but I can remember growing up, people always went around humming, and people don't do that anymore. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Is that true? Is that
I think
it's
you're,
weird,
I think
isn't
you're
it?
right. I feel like there is, and I have to say, I'm a culprit of saying, hey, please no singing, no more humming and singing around me. When I was younger, I'd be like, that's driving me crazy. And I think that you're right.
Well, yeah, think about
It
it.
is
Growing up, I always heard people humming, and now I don't. It's
Maybe
the
we can help
weirdest
it
thing.
resurge.
Huh?
Maybe we can help it resurge.
I know. That's what I'm thinking as you said that, or if somebody's humming, they're happy. Whistle while you work. That's what it makes me think of.
Yep. And it's because it's soothing. We're soothing ourselves. I love that. Whistle while you work, hum while you work.
I'm going to start humming.
And then singing is wonderful too. Just sing out, Louise. Sing out. Like you get your oxygen moving.
I know. I love to sing too. It's
stagnant
fun.
air out of your lungs.
Yeah, I do. And then I'll sing in the house by myself. Do you do that too?
Sure, for sure.
Do you sing to your kids? I bet you sing to
I do, and to their dismay.
All right, we got to get out of here for a few minutes, but talk about this. What has been the reaction? Have you taught some classes?
Sure.
What's going on?
I'm teaching it all the time. I'm teaching it all the time. And I'm thankful that, like my schedule is full. It's great.
Nice.
This is my studio.
Beautiful. I know.
Thank you. I call it the homestead. Because it's on my homestead, right? And
where are you? Can I ask where you are?
In California.
You're in California. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm in Northern California. I'm kind of a distance from San Francisco, half hour, 45 minutes. And I'm in a little unincorporated area. Sweet.
God bless. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. People have like turkeys and goats and things and all over.
Chickens. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. So I teach online. So
how do we find you? How do we find
coach many friends each day. I have transformational program that's amazing. So Melanie Salvator-August.com.
You guys, did you hear that? Melanie Salvatore-August.com. And that's how you're gonna. Do you have classes that we can attend?
I do. In fact, May 5th, there's a real big relaunch of this studio, and I'm gonna have lots of accessible classes.
Cinco de Mayo, you guys.
Yeah, it's it's an auspicious day. And again, just reach out to me. I'm super I feel like we're all friends.
Yeah.
And if you, and I'm talking to you, of course, Nancy, we're friends now.
Yes.
But friends out there, if you're I need specific help, I want Mel to look at me. I do 30-minute and hour-long coaches every day. And
now
on a program.
when you look, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your thought there, but
No,
when I'm all excited. So when you look at somebody, just like when you looked at me and you saw, you can look at somebody and say, okay, this is what you need to work on.
sometimes. And it's like listening. It's just like listening like a really good friend and saying, okay, I can hear that these things are helping you. And I can hear that those things are not. So
Got it.
how do we take the things that are helping you and how do we add tools that you probably are not aware of, but I have and thankful. And if I don't have them, I look for tools. And how do we add those tools into the things that are working for you already? And how do we amplify that
Got it. Got you.
and,
Wonderful.
and help yourself? Yeah.
Thanks, Melanie. What's
Mhm.
next? What's next?
What is next? I'm launching a 300-hour yoga teacher training. So I
Oh,
teach
wow.
yoga teachers. So I have a 200-hour. And so right now that's my focus.
That's your thing.
Yeah, it's kind of a big thing in the yoga world.
Oh, it's a huge
200
thing.
and 300-hour yoga teacher training. So we're launching that in July, and I have amazing partners for that. Rachel Scott, she's amazing. She's also an author, and Gil Headley, amazing functional anatomy, like stellar human.
Wonderful. Well, and as you say this, I just want to commend you for your work. And I want you to know that when you said that, what I saw was you teaching all these other people to go out into the world and do what you're doing. And that's just magnificent. I
Thank
think
you.
that's